Hey there, team. So today I wanted to talk about how to transition into real estate. So I remember when I first started in real estate, I had a full-time job, right? I had to pay the bills, had to cover the mortgage payment and all that. So starting with a full-time job, but there has to be a transition period. So it doesn't happen by accident, doesn't happen by luck. It comes with strategy. So I really want to share with you guys the path that I took, give you some realistic expectations so you also know, how is this going to work? How long is it going to take? All of those things, of course, are going to be super important, especially you're trying to pay your bills, right? We don't want to put ourselves in a position that we get behind on payments or anything like that. So we definitely want to make sure we're prepared. So let's get started really quickly. So again, it's not by accident, it's by strategy. So it's going to be very intentional. I don't want to lie and say it's going to be easy because it's not, right? If you were coming from a place that maybe you're still living at home and your bills are paid and covered and you can have 3, 4, 5 months to get used to real estate, that's going to be obviously a lot easier. But if you're looking at replacing an income for a little while, you're going to be working two jobs. So I just want to really give you that expectation as well. So today we'll go over about our team, who we are, why we have a team, some of the issues that we are here to resolve in real estate, a realistic time frame so that you kind of also know when you're going to be able to transition into real estate full time. And the cool thing is you get to basically try by fire. Like, let's go meet customers. Let's go dive in. Make sure it's something you like to do, right? So look at it almost like on the job training, meeting with real people, having real estate conversations. So our mission as a team, we want to build a collaborative team of select like-minded real estate professionals to support them in reaching their goals, to dominate and disrupt the industry while still managing to have some fun. And our big vision really is to improve the professionalism of the real estate industry. So I think in the past, we just haven't had the best reputation. That's why we're here. We want to elevate the expectation from consumers so that they really have they see value from working with us and they want to work with us. We also want to easily offer them 5-star service so that we create a raving fans community that's going to use us again and refer us others. So that's really the big picture of our team structure and what we're here to do. So what we're talking about today, we want to talk about transitioning from a full-time job to real estate. So you have to have a very strategic path, not taking a leap of faith. I don't want somebody to quit their job before they've started and then decide they don't like real estate, put themselves in a financial bind, anything like that. So we really want to make sure we have a plan in place before you make the big jump. So who is this for? This training is for professionals currently working a full-time job, people that have strong work ethic, are coachable and growth minded. So we find out those are the ones that have the most success with real estate, the most success with our team. It's very different if you're transitioning from being an employee somewhere, W-2 employee to being a business owner, right? Real estate is a commission only job. So every day you have to be focusing on money making activities to make sure you're able to continue to grow and hit your goals. So we're looking for people that are very coachable, open minded. The way we do things is different, and that's intentional, right? So if most realtors struggle, we want to do the opposite of that. We want to find an easy, simpler way to get there faster and growth minded. So anyone who's growth minded, maybe currently you're making 6 figures a year, you want to make 200,000 a year. Hey, that's somebody that's going to be an excellent fit for our team. Somebody's interested in real estate as a long-term career. So some people like it as a hobby, side hustle. It just doesn't work for us. This is what we do full time. We take it seriously and we're looking to increase the professionalism of the industry. It can't be a hobby. And then those that are willing to follow a proven plan. So sometimes I think being entrepreneurial, which most business owners are, we want to reinvent the wheel, right? We take some information and then we create our own scripts. We create our own processes with the information we learned. You have to just kind of trust the process, right? We have best practices in place. We've sold hundreds of thousands of homes at this point. Actually, I think we're up to like 1,500 homes we've sold in our career. So we've seen a lot of different things, right? We know what works. We know what doesn't. And the idea behind joining a team is that we want to really decrease the amount of time that you're going to need to make mistakes, right? We want to be able to train you on the best practices from day one so that you just do things the right way versus struggling for year after year, learning, making mistakes, and then learning not to do them again, right? So you kind of have to be willing to follow that proven plan. So the reality of real estate, which may or may not be shared if you're watching HGTV or, you're kind of thinking of one way, you're watching Ryan Serhant on YouTube. I really want you to understand the real reality of how it works. So always keeping in mind it's commission based. So everything that you do, every decision you make, all the time you're spending has to be on money making activities. The number one money making activity is making phone calls because the more people that you can talk to, if you sit down for an hour and you have two real estate conversations in an hour, I mean, your net worth, you could be worth $2,500 per hour, could be the check that you write yourself at the end of the year. If you're too busy putting up lock boxes and putting signs up, that's $10 an hour job, right? So even though we feel like we're busy and we're doing things, you constantly have to go back to what makes the most amount of money, and those are conversations. The more people I have in my pipeline, the more sales I'm going to make. It is literally a numbers game. The income is not immediate. So when you're first starting, a lot of it is learning, right? You have to build the foundation. You have to understand why you're saying the words you're saying and what's next and how to anticipate problems and be proactive, not reactive. There's a lot of foundation work that's going to go in the first couple of months. So you can't get discouraged. Don't start thinking, "Oh, it's been 2 days. I haven't got a check. This isn't worth it." Right? Or, "Oh, it's not working for me." You really have to understand that it's building. It's almost like if you had to go back to college and learn a skill, could take you 2, 3, 4, 5 years, right? So we're going to compress the time so you can learn it in a couple of months. But we do have people that, 2, 3 months, they don't see the results and they give up. It's like right when something would have happened. So that 2 or 3 months was a waste of time. So income's not immediate. Even when you find a customer, you have to find them before they're ready, right? That's our job, is to get them ready, to get them to make offers and buy homes. But then there's always going to be another 30-day contract to close time frame. So it's just the nature of the business. So success requires structure, accountability, and consistency. So doing the same things over and over and over and over again. Sometimes people master the skills and then they go, "Oh, I'm going to stop doing it that way. I'm going to try something new." Like you got to really stick to the basics because we know that's what works. The first 1 through 3 months is critical. This is when you're learning as much as you can. You're going to be getting on the job experience. You're going to be having conversations. You should be running open houses. You should be talking to neighbors, friends, colleagues, everyone that you know about real estate because you're practicing and you want to get better at it. So it's not risky when it's done correctly, right? So we can show you, we've helped hundreds of realtors over my career to build something in a very short amount of time, but you just have to follow the path, follow the process. It is demanding and customers will not wait for you. I wish they did, right? I wish that a customer told me he was going to fly in on Wednesday. I put in my calendar Wednesday. He took an Uber driver from the airport who also had a real estate license. Now he bought from somebody else, right? Like I should have been spending a week or two before they got here nurturing that relationship. Once he got here, hey, he was a free agent. He was able to work with anybody he wanted to. And there's realtors everywhere. So we're not in high demand. We're not, brain surgeons. There's only 20 in the state, right? There's hundreds of thousands. So customers will not wait for you and the job can be demanding. So this is what makes it hard when you have a full-time job is you really have to over communicate your value. They have to know that you're worth waiting for. That maybe you work till 5 on Friday, but you're available all day on Saturday to show them a house. You really have to show value. It's got to be in their best interest, not just in yours. Which again, that takes time learning how to present your values. So we call something, it's our unique selling propositions. So I have a marketing degree in marketing. They just call them USPs. What are your USPs? Why should I do business with you? You constantly have to be answering that question for the buyer or seller over and over again. All right, the hard truth. So why do most new agents fail? Unfortunately, in our business, lots of agents, everyone wants to try it. It only takes a week or two to get a license. It's easy to get in the business, but most people don't succeed. So number one, I say they quit their job too soon. They think it's going to happen immediately. Like, all right, I'm going to quit on Monday and then I'm going to start training on Monday. Like I would put in all the time and effort training beforehand, right? Get your real estate license beforehand before you're quitting the job. Having no savings, right? You got to know if it's going to take 3 months, you got to be able to survive 3 months before you're going to get a paycheck. In my experience, when I started, I was working really hard, saw nothing coming in. But then by month 3, all of a sudden I had 5 closings, right? All the work I'd been building up, all the pipeline, all the showings, all the customer touch points, all the things I was doing, they were closing, they just not yet. So that's going to be really important. Having no lead generation plan. So you don't want to sit around. It can't be by luck. Can't be by accident. When those things happen, that's great. I get phone calls like that. My sister decided to move. Great. Happy to help. I got your name from a friend you sold a house to. They told me you were the best. That's great. So when referrals come in, that's an add-on business, right? That's a win. That's good. That means that you're doing a good job by people. They're referring you more business. They're using you again, but you can't rely on that. So we have to be doing business with strangers. And in order to do that, we have to lead generate. No mentorship or accountability. Some people struggle just being a new business owner, right? You wake up every day and someone's not telling you where to go and what time and what to do. You're kind of lost. You don't know what to do first. So we're really going to put a good plan in place so that you know exactly what to do throughout the day to start getting those results very quickly. But it does require some mentorship. Or some people just treat it like a hobby. They think, well, I'll buy my own houses, sell some houses, right? They're just doing a little bit of business here and there, and it just doesn't work. So the path to success, number one is foundation. This is the first phase, and this might most likely be why you're still fully employed, why you're working another job. So your job for this first phase is learning. I want it to be on education, getting your license together, getting the systems trained up so that you know how to do the job, right? You want to start day one training because you're not being paid for that. So you want to make sure you already have a lot of those foundations in place. Get your license while you're still working, learn the contracts, learn the process, learn the marketplace. When I was brand new, I was going to open houses every single weekend. If I saw a sign, I was turning in. I wanted to learn about that community. I would drive neighborhoods, right? I would schedule showings that maybe I was the only customer that was there, but I'm trying to learn the areas that I wanted to be in. Setting up your CRM, setting up your database. So every customer that you know, start looking at it almost like a list of who would you invite to a wedding. All of those people should be in your database and looking at you as a professional. You want them to be getting emails from you, got your headshot on there, your professional Jennifer Kenna versus just, oh, that's just Jen from yoga class, right? You're wanting to shift people's perception into being a real estate professional. And then building a financial runway and also an exit strategy. So the cool thing with EXP is that we also have a retirement plan. We also have a way to get out of real estate, which would be fantastic, right? We don't want to work forever. Um, so getting licensed, yeah, building this. And now what's the time commitment reality? So while you're employed, you want to expect to add this to your day. So you want to add 2 to 3 hours to your evenings, right? This is while you still have a job. So this is assuming you're working a 9 to 5 job during the day. At after those times, after five, so from 5 to 7, 5 to 8, those are the times you're going to be putting in the work. So you literally are going to be running two businesses simultaneously, but this is so that you can build a pipeline, build your strategies, build what you need to be able to move over and make this your new full-time career. You got to be available for weekends. So sometimes you're working your day job, your weekends, maybe you want to go to the beach. Well, during this point where you're trying to get a new business started, look at it like starting your own new business. It's going to take some time. So doing showings over the weekend, open houses, doing training. There's tons of videos that we have. We have a whole website that you can spend a lot of time going through there and learning new strategies. So you're going to be sacrificing some short-term comfort for long-term freedom. So as long as you're looking at it in the big picture, the long run, you know it's going to be worth it, right? But it's going to be inconvenient now. So real estate rewards intensity, not convenience. So I can't tell you how many times that I had to cancel soccer practice, I had to cancel date night, I had to, work on a holiday because I had a customer wanting to buy a house. Now I'm compensated for that, right? I get paid for it. It's a sacrifice, but there is a payday on the other end of that. But that's what real estate is. So phase two is momentum. So now you're starting to really get more educated. You're learning the process. You're feeling more comfortable. You're probably pretty comfortable having conversations, talking on the phone, having, real world scenarios at open houses. So now you're starting to really get some momentum started. That's when your focus is going to be on lead gen and your first couple closings. So of course, reaching out to your sphere. Again, we want to do business with people that we know and like, right? That's going to be pretty easy. I don't have to convince them that I'm an honest, nice person because they already know me, right? Doing open houses every weekend gives you an opportunity to pick up ready now buyers. Sure, there are nosy neighbors. There are some people that just like looking at houses, but there are other buyers that are looking to purchase a home that want to walk freely. They want to be able to look at the house. They don't want the pressure of working with a realtor. And it's a great opportunity for you to pick up a ready now buyer. Working an open house. You want to start putting some follow-up systems in place. So maybe somebody that you met last month but wasn't ready yet, you want to make sure you're still communicating with them on month 2, month 3, month 4. So I think the average is about 4 months from when somebody is looking actively online to when they actually close. So there is a time gap in between, which is going to mean you're going to need your follow-up, right? You're going to need some plans in place so that they don't forget who you are. Anyone's going to forget someone after 4 months. You're going to have learning your scripts, how to have conversation about real estate that has a purpose. It's not just building rapport, making friends, right? That's great, but we also want to sell them a house. So you have to have a professional process on what happens next, what's the next step, because you're moving them through a process to get them to close. Objection handling. Don't be afraid if somebody says that they're worried about interest rates. Don't be afraid if they say, well, I already have a realtor. All of these things we say are just complaints. They're just something that's easy to come over. We want to ask more questions about it. Are you totally committed to that person? It's odd that you have a realtor, but they're not showing you open houses. Why are you doing an open house on Saturday? Right? That's kind of odd. So you might find out, well, they actually live out of state. They live out of area. They do this as a hobby. It's part-time for them. So it's a great opportunity for you to pick up a new client. So now you're going to start getting some first transactions. So you're going to have some help. You're going to have your mentor. You're going to have your TC department kind of supervising things as they go because it's a lot of money we're dealing with, right? We don't want to learn on our customers. We don't want to make a ton of mistakes. We really want to make it work. So you're going to have your proof of concept that it's something you enjoy doing, right? You might get into it and then go, this isn't for me. That's possible too. So I'd love before you quit your job, you actually have some closings and traction to know what the job looks like. And also some financial benchmarks are going to be important. You want to have at least 1 to 2 closings, like under contract or already closed, consistent weekly lead activity. So you're making conversations, you're reaching out to people, you're using your social media, you're using your sphere, a clear understanding of what your expenses look like, some savings in place, and then just make sure that it's all based on math and numbers, not on emotion, because then you're never going to put yourself in a bad position. And now phase three, this is that transition period. So now you have scale and skill mastery. You know what to do, you know what to say, you're becoming a professional advisor, you're starting to get some people in your pipeline. You have a structured daily schedule. We talk a lot about making sure your calendar is full. If you're going a week without an appointment, that's not good, right? If we don't have an appointment, our goal is to make an appointment. So you want to make sure you're filling up your calendar with a pipeline of people doing sales focused activities. So sometimes we can be really busy doing things, but they're not actually making us any money, right? We don't want to be working for free. Customer hasn't committed to using me as their buyer agent, yet I'm out there showing them houses, right? They haven't even hired me yet or committed to me. So I'm definitely putting myself at risk. Having the coaching in place, the accountability and performance tracking in place so that you keep hitting your goals, right? And so if you know what you want to make by the end of the year, we're going to take that number divided by 12 months and then you know what you have to hit each and every month. So this is where your income really is going to become predictable. It doesn't have to be a guessing game. So you're going to know whatever you're making at your current job, how many homes do you have to sell to work that backwards. So if you're making 5,000 a month, hey, that could be one house a month, one house every 2 months, right? So the first year actually looks like number one, the learning curve is steep, right? You have to look at it like it's a new career because it is, right? Just because you think you know real estate because you watch TV, it's totally different. Really being in the groove and knowing your role as a real estate professional. Your confidence is going to grow with reps. So you can't outsource your push-ups. Everybody wants to, right? I'll just hire someone to make the calls for me. No, because then once you have the appointment, uh, you're not that skillful on what to say and how to say it. So it's going to be with repetition. Repetition is how you're going to get good, and then your confidence will grow. The systems that we use replace chaos. We don't want to just be running and being at the beck and call of every customer. That doesn't work either. That's why we have systems in place so that you can actually scale and make sure you're using your time wisely. Your income is also going to stabilize with discipline. So discipline for me used to be a bad word. You got in trouble, you got disciplined, right? Like in school or by your parents or whatever. So I used to think it was a bad word. Once I realized that discipline is actually freedom. Once I have a discipline regimen, what I eat, going to the gym, going to church, all the different things that I have in my life, going on date nights with my husband, now I have freedom because now I can fit everything that I want into my schedule. When I have no discipline and I'm just waking up and winging it and flying by the seat of my pants and changing what I'm doing tomorrow to what I'm doing the next day, you can't really have that income stabilized. So it's going to be really important that you keep disciplined. And then most agents don't fail, they just quit too early. Like, so they might have all the foundation, they're just starting to learn, they're just getting momentum, they have 1 or 2 clients that they're starting to show houses to, and then they give up, right? So we definitely don't want that for you. And then why a team matters, and especially when you're early on this process. Number one, we have proven systems. You're not going out there and trying to figure it out on your own, right? Fall on my face a few times and get back up and go, shoo, don't do that again, right? We don't want that for you. We want you to follow a proven system we know that works so that you can have success very quickly. built-in accountability. So because we're providing the lead, we're providing the customer you're going to be working with, we got to make sure that you're doing a good job for the customer, right? It doesn't make any sense to give you a client that could generate $10,000 commission when you're not doing the effort, you're not practicing, you're not doing the skills when I could give it to an agent right over here that I know would close it. That does put in the work and the effort. We do have transaction support. So some of the hardest part is the contracts, right? And they change probably every year. Every time somebody does something wrong, they got to update the contracts again. So having that support in-house for the contracts is really going to help you get up and going faster, faster learning curves and reduce costly mistakes. So when I was a brand new agent, I was spending a ton of money trying to buy leads, trying to do marketing, trying to be on the park bench and the billboard, right? Without any guarantee of success. So I could write a check for $2,500 for a lead source that I had no idea if they'd ever convert, right? So that's not a fun place to be. So we really want you to have that team support so that you can get up and going quickly and have success quickly. What are we looking for? So what's important to us? So we are looking to grow this year. We have pretty much as much abundance of business as we can handle. So we have a great rapport, a great relationship with Zillow. We've been working for them for 6, 7 years. They like us. We're one of their top teams in the area. So as much as we're able to grow, they're willing to support us. So right now we might have 15% market share, man, and that's 300 leads a month. So if we start doing a better job, hey, wouldn't it be great if we grab 30% or 50% of market share in our area? So what we're looking for, we want a professional background, right? Again, this is not a hobby. This is not for fun. You don't leave the gym and then you go show houses with your hair a mess and sweaty. That's not what we're doing here. We'd love to see people dress professionally, show up on time, be early, be courteous, be professional. Really, really important to have success. And if you ever want to move up your price point, you want to help people at $10, $20 million homes, it's going to be super important that your confidence level is very high. Having a coachable mindset. So just knowing that we have done this before and we are here to help. Coaching, it's a two-way street. You have to also believe it and implement it for yourself. High personal standards, long-term vision, and willingness to do the work. So it can give you an amazing career, could give you a lifelong career. You could do this for the next 50, 60 years. You don't have to take another job or have another boss any other time ever again, right? But it does take work and it does take time. But we're here to help people build careers, not just an extra couple bucks here and there. The great thing is a long-term opportunity. So with real estate, one thing that I loved about it is the harder I work, the more money I made. There was a lot of career jobs I had, corporate America. I would work my butt off. I never would make any more money, right? There was always a ceiling to how much I could earn. Flexible schedule after you master this. Once you get good at it, master it in the first year. By year two, man, you could really have some amazing, amazing flexibility, right? Maybe you have another buyer agent on your team who's helping you show houses. Maybe you got the TC is helping you write your offers and your contracts, right? As you grow and build, everything's going to get easier, right? Once you've been doing the push-ups for a long time now, it's not so hard. So you can have business ownership, you can have really long-term wealth through real estate, and it's something that you can give to your children, right? So now it's wealth. It's something that can be passed along in legacy. It gives you control over your future. So if you're willing to work hard, put the time in, you can literally have as much or as little as you want. But just kind of looking more long-term vision, short-term sacrifice, but long-term freedom. All right. So next steps, if you guys are interested, if this sounds like something that would work for you, something that you're excited to try, we would love to have a private conversation. We would love to do a kind of a mindset assessment. It's our personality assessment to see if it's in line with your natural abilities. If it's something that we'd recommend to be a buyer or seller's agent, and then really talk through a personalized transition plan. Where are you now? What is your schedule? And how do we get you to the next steps? And of course, if you're serious, we'd love to have a conversation. Love to meet with you and love to learn more about your unique situation. So here's kind of our team members that you'll get the opportunity to meet. Again, we do work as a fully functioning team, so everybody has a certain role to play to help everyone grow and scale. So we look forward to meeting you in person and having some more conversations to see if real estate is going to be a great career for you. Thanks, guys.